Hey, the name's Cruel. That's King Rob Rule. With Monster Hunter Rise coming out in the upcoming months, many Monster Hunter fans are surely feeling the hype. But with that hype for the series comes some thirst. Many Monster Hunter World fans may be burned out on the series and aren't sure about what other sort of Monster Hunter games to play up until that point. So in the coming weeks, I'll be recommending some old Monster Hunter games from the past to keep you tied over until Monster Hunter Rise in March. And since Monster Hunter Rise is coming out on the Nintendo Switch, what better game to start with first than Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate? Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate was released worldwide on the Nintendo Switch on August 28, 2018. With the release of Monster Hunter World in January of 2018, at first glance, it would seem like Generations Ultimate is the latest release for the franchise, not including the Iceborne expansion for World. However, it is actually a HD remaster and expansion of a 3DS spin-off game released in Japan on November 28, 2015 as Monster Hunter Cross. It was released to the rest of the world in July of 2016 as Monster Hunter Generations. So wait, what? This game's based off a 3DS game? A spin-off 3DS game that's over 5 years old?
Whoa there!
Don't let the age of the game fool you though, or that the original was a 3DS game. In fact, some of the best games in the series have been handheld experiences. Capcom have been known to be quite experimental in their handheld entries, which has led to some extremely interesting gameplay features, which Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate definitely has in spades. But more on that in a second. Features! If you've been playing Monster Hunter World, or came from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, you're not missing out on any weapons here. All 14 weapons are included in this game. This is important because the further back you go in Monster Hunter games, the less weapons are available. Not all Monster Hunter games include all the weapons. Weapons like the Switch Axe, Charge Blade, and Insect Glaive are all relatively new. But there's no need to worry, because in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, you can think of Generations Ultimate as sort of a comparison to Smash Bros. Ultimate, in the Monster Hunter sense, as it is somewhat of a greatest hits of everything Monster Hunter up until that point. So it's not just the weapons that are included, but also a gigantic roster of monsters to fight from Monster Hunter's backlog, as well as tons of iconic maps from the series. Some of the franchise's most memorable monsters are here, such as Astalos, Mizitsune, Diablos, Glavenus, Devil Joe, and everyone's favourite, the Yangaruka. Just kidding. God, I hate that thing. But no offense if you love the screaming fire poison chicken. But all jokes aside, the flagship monster of the series, Valstrax, is one of the coolest monsters I have ever seen in a Monster Hunter game. It's basically a huge dragon with jet engines on its wings that it uses to blast at you and move at supersonic speeds. My first fight with this beast is one I'll never forget. Within the game, you'll be fighting through low rank versions of these monsters, then high rank, hyper monster forms, and even G rank level monsters are included in the game. Not to mention the devious monsters that feature more dangerous, unique, evolved versions of monsters, which can be accessed via the hub with special permits. These become more difficult over subsequent runs, but net you some seriously great rewards if you put in the effort. There are also arena quests in the hub, which require you to use predetermined armor sets, weapons, and items, which provide a unique and interesting challenge. Earlier I said that this game has some unique features. Well, let's talk about that. They come in the form of hunting styles and hunting arts. When you create a character, you are allowed to select a specific hunting style that will play completely differently to the others available. But don't think too hard about it, because you can change them at any time. Just choose what seems most appealing to you at first. But if I was to recommend something, I would say aerial. It's a whole lot of fun, trust me. However, there are disadvantages and advantages to each hunting style, so keep that in mind. There are 6 hunting styles to choose from. 1. Guild style. This is the most basic form, which will feel most familiar to veterans of the Monster Hunter series. Your moveset is the same from past games, and you get to equip 2 hunter arts. 2. Aerial style. Arguably the most fun, with a whole lot of damage potential. Aerial style typically has you lose something from your weapon's arsenal, but gives you the ability to jump high into the air by dodging or vaulting into monsters or even other players for massive aerial attacks. This usually results in several mounts per hunt, and if used right, keeps you out of harm's way as well. However, you only get to use 1 hunting art, so choose wisely. But if you ask me, it doesn't really matter, because it's so much fun. 3. Striker style. The main gimmick of Striker style is that it allows you to equip 3 hunting arts, but has the downside of usually taking something pretty valuable or key from your weapon's moveset, so be sure to watch some guides before trying it out. 4. Adept style. Adept style is the most rewarding when you have learned a monster's attack patterns. This is because it gives you the ability to dodge through attacks with invincibility frames when timed correctly, which can then be linked into powerful counterattacks. With Monster Mastery, it is possible to run rings around the monster, never getting hit and downing it in record times. Again, like aerial style, this only allows the use of 1 hunting art, so that may or may not be a deal breaker. 5. Valor style. Valor style is a bit more complicated. This style is based around a special weapon sheath unique to this hunting style that allows for absorbing enemy hits and conducting specific maneuvers while in the sheathing stance. Doing so will build up a valor gauge that when full will make your hunter much more powerful. So exactly what it does and how it is used is unique for each weapon, so if you're interested, have a look at some YouTube guides. It's really cool. It sounds confusing because it is at first, but it's one of those things where you put the time in and you'll get the rewards. And 6. Alchemy Style. Alchemy Style is a support style role which features an alchemy meter that fills up over time. The gauge is spent on performing alchemy, which synthesizes special items. These items can be recovery or support items for the player or other party members. Alchemy, like Striker Style, allows for 3 hunter arts, but these skills are on a longer cooldown. If you like to play a support role, well then this style might be for you. Okay, hunter arts. Let me explain what these are. Hunting arts are abilities that hunters may use to assist in a hunt. These can take the form of a supercharged attack, a buff, or any number of things. Every weapon has unique hunting arts, as well as a long list of general hunting arts that aren't often used as much. For a more in-depth look at hunting styles and arts for each weapon specifically, there are plenty of guides on YouTube available, so don't hesitate to look them up. Recommendation: is it worth it? Old school Monster Hunter fans are going to feel extremely at home within this game, and with the introduction of hunting styles and arts, the pace of the average hunt is cranked up to the max. However, fans who started with Monster Hunter World may feel a little out of place with this game. While it is still a Monster Hunter game at its core, in comparison to World, the graphics aren't as good, the art style is much more colourful and saturated, and the game doesn't take itself too seriously. Monster Hunter World had a much more serious tone to it, with a full-on narrative and cutscenes to accompany it. You won't find that here in Generations Ultimate. No, this game is straight up back-to-back battles with your favourite monsters with no story. Well, technically there is a story. but it is so minimal since it's all hidden within short dialogue boxes from NPCs. You're not likely to notice it or care. But the gameplay stands so well on its own that I don't think that matters. However, if story is important to you in games, then that's something to definitely keep in mind. The online community is still thriving in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, so there's also no need to worry about whether or not you're going to find online lobbies for multiplayer. The MHGU community are so helpful and laid back. It's just a great community to be a part of. You'll struggle to find toxic players there. All in all, I would definitely recommend Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I would say in total, I've spent about 400 hours over 2 separate characters, and I still haven't even scratched the surface of this game. Some may find this overwhelming, but the gameplay loop really is that good to keep you engaged for that long, and then some. If you want to play a game that will last you until Monster Hunter Rise, or just last you a long time in general, then this game is definitely for you. However, it is not an easy game to get into, and not a lot is explained, so make sure to have the MHGU database downloaded on your smartphone and watch a lot of guides. If you don't have time for that, well then this game is most likely not for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Leave a like, comment and subscribe if you did. For the next video, I'll be talking about a really old Monster Hunter game, so stay tuned for that. Once again, I'm King Rob Rule, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!